Hello, my name is Carlos Julio Guerra, and I welcome you today. Relationship is not religion. What does this mean? Consider that God calls us His children and Himself our Father because we are made in the image of God. That's why God would say things like, how can you say that you love God whom you've never seen if you don't love your neighbor who is made in the image of God and lives next to you? So the first step of understanding why we're here and who we are is to understand who our Creator is, in whose image we're made. So what does God first say about Himself? The very first thing God says about Himself is that He created the heavens and the earth. So the first thing He tells us about Himself is that He's creative, which tells us something about ourselves. We, made in His image, can also create. So what is religion? My book, and I'll speak about that later, talks about relationship, not religion. Well, religion is when we humans try to either earn favor from God or become God and change circumstances to our favor. So where was the first religion first talked about? Well, the Bible first talks about religion in the Garden of Eden when Lucifer, or the fallen angel, deceived the woman, the first human woman, to eat of the fruit that God told them, Adam and Eve, or Adam, God called them both Adam, but Adam called her Eve. When Lucifer convinced Eve that eating of the fruit would make her like God. So that was the first religion, humanism, humans becoming God. But the problem with that is we humans had nothing to do with putting the solar system in place or the many solar systems. So in other words, the deceiver, Lucifer, convinced Eve that disobeying God would make her more like God, which is quite the lie to pull that off. And unfortunately, many of us still get deceived into believing that we can be like God. Well, we are like God, we're made in God's image, but we're not God. We don't speak things into existence from just nothing but our voice, and there's many things that we can't do. But we're made in the image of the Creator, which makes us quite special. So relationship has nothing to do with religion. Relationship is basically understanding our place and whose we are. And relationship has to do with communication. Communicating with the one that made us, that created us, that has a purpose for each of our lives. So the first step is to find out what our purpose is. I guarantee you will find joy in doing what you were made to do. You will also be very good at it. You will have everything you need to do that, whatever that is. But that is between you and your Creator. And that begins with a relationship. Talking about it. Hanging out. And the great thing about it is our Creator wants to hang out with us. He wants a relationship with us. Much like a loving father wants a relationship with his children. So how do I know that you will be really good at whatever your purpose is? Well, you were made for it. And no one else has your fingerprints. No one else thinks quite like you do. You are a unique person, and which makes you the one that can do whatever that job is really good. Matter of fact, you don't have any competition. Because does anyone else have your fingerprint? We do know that God created everything that we can see and everything that we can't see. As a matter of fact, there's much more that we can't see that is still created, that's still there. Like for instance, can you see oxygen that you're breathing? Well, if you're watching this, then I know that there's oxygen where you're at, otherwise you wouldn't be alive. Can you see sound waves? Can you see radio waves? There's so much we can't see. Although we can't see the wind or oxygen or anything that is invisible to our eyesight, it's still there. We know that, like I know you wouldn't be alive if there wasn't oxygen where you were at. So just like you wouldn't see me if there was no light. Even though you really can't see light, you can see the effects of it. Just like you can see the effect of the wind blowing against something. So the first step to get to know our Creator is to understand that there's so much more to life than what these five senses tell us. What we can see, hear, smell, touch, or taste. There's so much more. So getting to know the Creator begins with understanding that He is, and He wants to hang out with us. So that can start in your mind. Like I said, He's the only being that knows your thoughts. And talking to Him and listening, He will talk to you. So as I've mentioned, the first step is communication. And we, being spiritual beings, can communicate. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a question, leave a comment. My website is Carlos J. Guerra, that's GUERRA.com. And there you can ask questions. You can purchase the book. Jesus Said What is the name of it. And it's offered on Amazon as a Kindle or as a paperback. And it's a short book, a short read, and it may help answer some questions. It does witness of what God did with me. And hey, if He does it for me, He'll do it for anybody. So until then, until next video, be blessed. Make sure that you subscribe. Tell somebody about the video if it's helped you in any way. Feel free to ask a question at carlosjguerra.com. Or if someone has questions that are weighty and you don't know the answer to, feel free to pose them. If I don't know the answer, I will find someone who does and answer that question. Or try to at least. And until then, be blessed.